Recombinant DNA technology. Today we discuss about the recombinant DNA technology protocol, the technique, and after that we will discuss about the DNA library. So recombinant DNA technology protocol or the whole technique started with the first step of isolation of the desired gene. We have discussed in previous lecture that how there is isolation of our interest gene or desired gene is taken out, and how there is isolation of the vector is taken out. This both whole genome of which contains the desired gene and the vector, they are treated with the specific endonuclease enzyme that is known as restriction endonuclease enzymes. This restriction endonuclease enzyme is also a very important short note, and by their activity on this both whole human genome containing this desired gene and the vector, they will produce the sticky ends or blunt ends depending on the restriction endonuclease enzyme on the both the whole genome and the vector. Then they will be treated with the DNA ligase enzyme. So there is a hybrid DNA or chimeric DNA, that is the third step. It is produced by the, because it contains the DNA from the two different species, one from that is vector, that is from the bacteria, and one from that is our the desired gene, either it is from the human or either from the other species than that bacteria. So there is a hybrid type of the DNA is formed, that is also known as chimeric DNA, and it is also known as a recombinant DNA, that is DNA synthesized artificially with the help of the recombination. In previous lecture we have discussed about the uh, natural recombination techniques, that is chromosomal recombination and their uses. But here which we are from chimeric or hybrid DNA, that is a by artificial recombination technology, that is, so it is also known as recombinant DNA. Then after the formation of the hybrid DNA, these, why the technique we do, what is the main purpose, to produce the large number of the proteins from our the interest gene. We are taking only single gene, and from that single gene we will produce the large number of the interested protein, which is the expressed portion of this particular gene. So for that, this, in third step we will only synthesize one chimeric DNA. Now its multiplication requires their transportation into the certain bacterial cell, because this is vector is a also, what is vector, it is a double stranded DNA circular molecule which is present independently into the bacteria, and that can also multiply independently than the bacterial genome. So this chimeric DNA is transported into the bacterial cell, so along, and then the bacteria is allowed to grow. So there is a multiplication of the bacterial cell along with this chimeric DNA happened. So there is a large number of the chimeric DNA synthesized. After their synthesis, we have to select the special colonies which contains our interested chimeric DNA molecules or interested gene molecule. Then after selecting this chimeric DNA molecule containing our desired gene, then expression of that desired gene is taken out, which will produce the large number of our desired proteins, which we actually want. So this is the recombinant DNA technology protocol. First is isolation of desired gene, then isolation of vector, then formation of chimeric DNA, then uptake of chimeric DNA into the bacterial cell. This process is known as transfection. Then selection of colonies, and then expression of the gene to produce the desired product. Now let's see one this step one by one. So first is the isolation of the desired gene. Now isolation of the desired gene, it can be taken out by two process. Either from the directly gene can be taken isolated from the whole human genome or whole our desired interested whole genome containing species containing whole genome. From that only the DNA can be taken out by DNA isolation technique. This is purified DNA is so once the DNA is isolated out, this is the one technique by directly DNA is isolated, this DNA or purified DNA which contains which is the from the particular species, that is acted upon by the specific enzyme, that is restriction endonuclease enzyme. So these restriction endonuclease enzyme, according to their specific recognition sequence, they will cut down whole genome into the desired DNA basis. So from that our interested DNA will be selected out and it will be inserted into the vector molecule by the same restriction endonuclease and DNA ligase enzyme. But another technique of isolation of desired gene is not from the whole DNA by, but it is from the after RNA becomes, after we will from the, there is a step synthesis of the complementary DNA from the mRNA. So what do we do in the another technique to isolate our the specific interested DNA molecule? We directly not take out isolate the our interested DNA molecule from the genome, whole genome, but rather than first we will isolate the total RNA from the cytoplasm and from the nucleus. Total RNA is isolated out from the particular species which contains mRNAs and rRNAs mainly into the cytoplasm. Then they will pass through the column with the immobilized oligodeoxythymine. As we all know that mRNA after that post transcriptional modification in the uh, cytoplasm, they will contain the polyadenine molecules at the 3' end. So if we pass through these whole mRNA, these whole RNA which contains mRNA and rRNA, they will pass through a particular column of chromatography. So in that column we will attach here in the column, that is oligodeoxythymidine molecule. So as these oligodeoxythymidine molecule are there, once whatever total RNA we will pass through that column. So as the only mRNA contains at the 3' end poly A tail link, so polyadenine are molecule are present. So and from that mRNA and rRNA which we have passed through that column, only mRNA will bind to that column, but rRNA cannot be bind because rRNA doesn't contain poly A tailing at the 3' end. So only when mRNA with poly A tail are retained is P pairs with the adenine molecule. Adenine molecule is itself present in a mRNA at the 3' site, but only thymidine molecules that are present into the our column of the chromatography. So this mRNA molecule will be retained inside the column while other will be passed out, rRNA will be passed out. So once this rRNA will be passed out after specific time period, then mRNA is eluted by specific technique which will degrade the bond between the thymidine and the adenine molecule. So now we have collected whole mRNA molecule from the cell, and these mRNA are in the different sizes which are composed, which this mRNA is the whole cell mRNA which may contains the mRNA for the uh, growth hormone synthesis, also for the insulin synthesis, also for the other any enzyme synthesis. So but our interest of this technique is, suppose we want to produce the insulin protein, so our interest is to take the only mRNA which is specific for the which will going to synthesize or translated into the insulin protein only. So what we will do for that, fractionation of the mRNA species will be done by specific technique, and there is a mRNA will be separated out by there is a different size length in the size, and along with the already we know that what is the mRNA sequence of the of the insulin gene. So again specific insulin mRNA is identified and separated by passing through the column. So whole mRNA again passes through the different column, and specific insulin mRNA to that complementary sequence is one specific portion of the complementary sequence is attached to the column. So only mRNA containing the insulin which we is translated into the insulin will be retained into the column while other will be eluted out. So now we have identified our interested mRNA molecule. Now we want to produce the complementary DNA because only DNA can be uh, bind or we will produce the chimeric DNA in the recombinant DNA technology. Now what we will do, suppose this is the RNA strand in below line, this is the RNA strand, it is the for the insulin mRNA. So already it contains in the 3' and polyate adenine molecule and 5' and the 7 methyl capping. So now from that DNA synthesis by the reverse transcriptase enzyme. Now we will add the reverse transcriptase enzyme along with deoxynucleotide triphosphates, deoxyadenosine triphosphate, deoxyguanosine triphosphate, deoxythymidine diphosphate and deoxycytosine triphosphate. So these all will be added along with the reverse transcriptase. So what we will do, so that it will produce the certain molecules which are complementary to the RNA molecule. So RNA DNA hybrid is produced. As we have already introduced here the deoxythymidine also. So there is a first it will start here deoxythymidine molecule, thymidine because already always there is a synthesis of the newer strand occurs in the 5' 3' direction. So this type of the DNA is synthesized. As it is synthesized by reverse transcriptase enzyme, and this DNA is not synthesized from the DNA molecule, but this DNA is synthesized from RNA molecule. So that type of the DNA which is synthesized from the RNA molecule, it is known as complementary DNA molecule. So now here only we get the only one stranded DNA, but it requires the double stranded DNA. So now what we will do, this 3' end of the DNA is extended by terminal deoxynucleotide transferase, that is a deoxycytosine cytosine molecule will be added here, that is in the terminal site. So large number of the cytosine will be added into the 3' end. Now after that transfer terminal cytosine molecule transfer, now RNA molecule which is present in the same medium, that is degraded by the RNase enzyme. So RNA molecule will degrade all the RNase molecule RNA. So RNA will be now out from the medium. Now only one single strand of the DNA is present. So that makes the single stranded DNA. Now DNA single strand is primed by the piece of the oligodeoxyguanosine molecule. As we have added extra cytosine molecule here, so there is a guanine molecule is added here. Here it should not be like this. This end doesn't contains this RNA molecule. Up to this mark only RNA. We have extended this portion, that's by cytosine. So first we will add the guanosine molecule. So this guanosine triphosphate they will bond as they are complementary. So they will form the bond here. So now there is a primed molecule is already synthesized. Because of that only we have added the cytosine molecule. So now after that primed is synthesized, double stranded DNA is synthesized by action of the DNA polymerase 1 and deoxynucleotide triphosphate. So now whole DNA molecule is now synthesized, that is complementary DNA, because we have synthesized it from the RNA molecule. So double stranded DNA molecule is synthesized. Now sticky ends on the complementary DNA are generated by terminal transferase. So both at 3' end we will add the extra cytosine molecule. So there is a sticky ends is already produced here. So this is the technique by isolation of the DNA. Either we can isolate directly from the whole genome, or either it can be isolated from the total RNA compound from the cell molecule. So this is now over first step. Now second step is isolation of the vector. So now suitable cloning vector is identified from the different vectors, either from the plasmid, either artificial chromosomes, or either there is from the cosmids. So different types of the vectors are available. From that suitable cloning vector is identified which contains the self-replicating genetic material, and it can also carry the donor DNA. So from that mostly plasmid of the bacteria is useful as a suitable vector also, and certain artificial chromosomes also. So here we have taken as a plasmid of the bacteria. Now after isolation of our interested DNA and the vector molecule, now we are forming the chimeric DNA. So what we are doing, this is the our vector which we have isolated, that is suppose plasmid, and this is the donor DNA molecule. This slide we have also discussed in the previous lecture, that this is the our interested DNA, this is the our plasmid. They both are acted upon by the same type of the restriction endonuclease enzyme, so they will act on the specific recognition sequence into the both interested DNA also and into the plasmid molecule also. So they will produce the sticky ends here, because the enzyme is EcoR1 that will produce the sticky end. And mostly the restriction endonuclease enzyme that are used in the recombinant technology, they will produce the sticky ends. So these sticky ends now will easily bind with each other with the help of the DNA ligase enzyme. So now what we have get here, the recombinant DNA, this portion light blue color, that is of plasmid DNA molecule, while these purple color DNA molecule, they are molecule from the our interested DNA. Suppose this is the our interested DNA, insulin we have added here. So formation of chimeric DNA, vector DNA is cleaved at the specific sites by restriction endonuclease enzyme. Restriction endonuclease cuts the vector DNA in such a way that it forms the complementary sticky ends on the vector. These ends of vector and donor DNA joined by ligase enzyme, which forms the recombinant or chimeric DNA. So now we have get our one molecule of the chimeric DNA. But as we want the larger number of the our interested product, we require the multiplication of the this chimeric DNA, and alone it cannot be multiplicated. So now easily, as the prokaryotes can be have a faster growth rate than the eukaryotes, now we will transfer this chimeric DNA into the prokaryotes like the bacteria. So this is the sticky ends is now synthesized by in the vector DNA by EcoR1 restriction endonuclease. In same enzyme also acts on the, suppose here we want to synthesize the human insulin. So human DNA is taken out, that is insulin DNA, and then we will act upon by the same restriction endonuclease enzyme. So this molecule is synthesized and this from the vector, then they will be base paired by DNA ligase enzyme. So recombinant DNA is now synthesized or hybrid DNA is synthesized. So as I have told you that only one molecule of chimeric DNA is synthesized. Now as we want larger number of the chimeric DNA, as we want there is a large number of the product from the our interested DNA molecule. So it requires for multiplication of the chimeric DNA. And multiplication mostly we will do by, as the eukaryote prokaryotes are as a faster growth rate. So it will easy to multiply along with this prokaryotes molecule, this chimeric DNA. So that for that mechanism, we will transport or transfer this chimeric DNA molecule by that process by which a plasmid which contains the chimeric DNA molecule or there is a hybrid DNA molecule is introduced into the host bacterial cell. This process is known as a transfection. So now host cells and plasmid vector, the host cells contains the plasmid vector. They are incubated into the specific medium which contains the calcium chloride. So these calcium ions, they are these calcium ion channels are opened, and through which the plasmid is imbibed into the host cell. So why these both host cell and the plasma chimeric DNA, they are incubated into the medium containing calcium chloride, because calcium channels opened out and it will help to transport the plasmid into the bacteria. Now there are the three different conditions may happen. Suppose some of the bacteria that doesn't contain, means plasmid cannot enter into that bacteria. In certain two molecules of the plasmid can be entered, and in some of there is a the plasmid which doesn't contain any types of the chimeric DNA. Simple plasmid molecule can also be entered inside the bacteria. Now only from the total bacteria, after this medium incubation, from that the total bacteria and the total hybrid DNA molecule containing plasmid, only 5% of the bacterial colonies contain the desired vector. Means certain bacteria contains the plasmid, but it is a simple plasmid which doesn't contain any desired our interested gene. Only 5% of the bacterial colonies contain our desired vector. Therefore, from that 100% of the bacterial colonies, we have to select the desired colonies. How we will select the desired colonies? So, as we have discussed in the previous lecture that this is suppose it is the plasmid. Any plasmid, they contains the different gene molecule that gives the protection to the bacteria or to the certain specific antibiotic drugs. So this specific plasmid named is PBR325. They contains the three different antibiotic resistance gene. One, that is chloramphenicol resistance gene, one ampicillin resistance gene, and another is the tetracycline resistance gene. So when we have acted upon treated this plasmid for the production of the chimeric DNA, that is this chloramphenicol gene is broken down, resistance gene is broken down by the restriction endonuclease enzyme, and in place of certain portion of that gene our interested DNA molecule is inserted out. So you can see that easily ampicillin and tetracycline resistance gene is not hampered, but chloramphenicol resistance genes become hampered out here. So it is broken down chloramphenicol resistance gene. So these chloramphenicol resistance genes become is broken down because of insertion of our interested DNA. Now only this plasmid containing our interested DNA, that is chimeric DNA, it contains only two genes which gives protection to the two different antibiotics, only ampicillin and tetracycline. So plasmid PBR vector contains ampicillin, tetracycline and chloramphenicol resistance gene. But as the restriction endonuclease enzyme cleaves the plasmid in the middle of the chloramphenicol gene, now plasmid is only two antibiotic resistance gene which contains only which contains the chimeric DNA. So one is inactivated by the insertion. This insertional inactivation of chloramphenicol gene is the marker of the hybrid DNA. So we want to select the colonies which contains our interested DNA. So how we can take or how we can identify our colonies which contains the hybrid DNA? So that is the by the marker of which contains the insertional inactivation of chloramphenicol gene. That colonies which doesn't gives protection against the chloramphenicol antibiotic, that is our that contains our interested DNA molecule. So now after we know that this is the our interested colony, which it should contains our interested colony, we should select the colony. How we can select? So after transfection, the bacteria are cultured into the medium which contains the ampicillin and tetracycline. So those bacteria only which contains the plasmid which can grow. In earlier I have told you that once we incubate the interested DNA containing plasmid, and certain another plasmid is simple plasmid is also present, and along with the bacteria in the medium containing calcium chloride, there are the three different possibilities can happen. One possibility in which plasmid, neither of the plasmid can enter inside the bacteria. So this bacteria is not our interested because it doesn't contain our interested here. Second possibility is only the plasmid which doesn't contain our chimeric DNA that also imbibed into the bacterial cell. So this is not our interest because it doesn't this plasmid doesn't contains our interested DNA molecule. And third possibility is that only 5% of the bacteria which is happened that bacteria contains the plasmid that contains our chimeric DNA. So now we only require that interested DNA containing the bacteria. Only that bacteria should grow and it should be multiply. So we will get the only our interested DNA containing in large number. So what we will do, so all that type of the bacterial containing after the transfection, all bacteria which either contain plasmid or doesn't contain plasmid or those contain the chimeric DNA, they are now cultured into the medium containing ampicillin and tetracycline. So only the bacteria which contains the plasmid will grow. So from the three possibility, the bacteria which doesn't contain any plasmid, the bacteria which contains simple plasmid, and the bacteria which contains the plasmid which containing our chimeric DNA, our intrastate DNA. So from that the simple bacteria will die out because the simple bacteria doesn't contain any resistance gene, that is ampicillin or tetracycline resistance gene. So now only two possibility, only two bacteria are there, one bacteria containing a simple plasmid and one bacteria containing the chimeric plasmid. So now there will be many colonies where the vector does not contain the foreign DNA. So from that one colonies which contains the vector which contains foreign DNA, and one colony which doesn't contain which contains the vector that is plasmid but doesn't contain our foreign DNA. So what happened after that, this whole medium or this whole replica plate or medium which will be uh, producing the replica plated onto the another agar plate. So another agar plate is taken and they will place onto the our medium containing the bacteria, so that another replica plate of that same bacteria will be synthesized into the another plate. And now we are adding the chloramphenicol on this replica plate. So once we add this chloramphenicol, those the bacteria which contains our desired colony, they will not grow on the replica plate, because as I have told you that by insertion of our intrastate DNA into the plasmid, they will lead to the insertional inactivation of the chloramphenicol resistance gene. So our intrastate DNA colony molecule cannot be grow onto the replica plate. So this type of the three possibilities are synthesized. The first, E. coli bacteria which growing into the ordinary medium having the many colonies. This contains three different colonies. One colonies they doesn't contain any plasmid. One colonies they contains only simple plasmid, and one colonies they contains the plasmid which contains the our intrastate DNA molecule. So suppose this is the total mixing of the colonies. So now what we will do, in B medium, they will be B medium. It contains the ampicillin and tetracycline. So only few colonies will remain there. The colonies which is simple bacteria which doesn't contains any plasmid, they will die here because they doesn't contain any ampicillin or tetracycline resistance gene. Now there is a two colonies remain here. One colonies which contains the bacteria containing the only simple plasmid that doesn't contain our intrastate DNA, and one colonies, that type of the colonies which contains our intrastate DNA molecule into the plasmid. So now we want to separate of both these. So now what we will do? We take another replica plate, then we will placed over this B medium. So there is a same type of the copy replica colonies will synthesize into the another plate. After that, we will add into this chloramphenicol, chloramphenicol drug. So as I have told you that as our the intrastate colony that contains the plasmid containing the intrastate DNA, they doesn't contain the chloramphenicol resistance gene because it was inactivated by insertion of our intrastate DNA. So they cannot remain alive into this type of the medium, and only the colonies which contains the simple plasmid they can grow here. So now we will match this both the colonies, and we find that where there is a not spot occurs is same as to the our B medium. So here the red colored outline shows that this type of the colonies which is present in our original medium, it is our the intrastate colony. So this is our the intrastate colony which contains plasmid containing the intrastate DNA. So replica plate with chloramphenicol where chloramphenicol sensitive colony is absent. So this chloramphenicol sensitive means chloramphenicol can act upon that type of the colony is absent in C medium, that is our intrastate colony. Now we will identify our intrastate colony, then this colony will be taken out from that medium, and now it will be grow into the this colony is selected for the further multiplication or amplification. These colonies we will take into this simple medium which in which we will add the certain growth factors which helps to growth bacterial cell. So there is a large number of the our bacterial colony is synthesized, which contains only our interested DNA molecule. After that, from that, once there is a total colony is multiplicated or amplificated out, we will again broken down the bacterial cell wall. So there is a plasmid is synthesized, and the plasmid again will be acted upon by same restriction endonuclease enzyme. So there is a intrastate DNA will be synthesized. Now this intrastate DNA molecule will be expressed into the mRNA by transcription, and then will be translated into the specific protein. So large number of the insulin protein we can synthesize by this technique. So expression of the gene to produce the protein, cell carrying the vector with the insert is allowed to grow without any protein inhibitors. So one terminology is expression vector, in which that vector carrying the foreign DNA which is translated into the protein is known as expression vector. Certain vector are simple vectors, certain are expression. So expression vector, they contains the enough if they contains enough amount of the protein inhibitors drugs, then they will helpful to synthesize the protein from that our interested DNA molecule. Now these proteins from that medium can be harvested from the bacterial culture. So now we have get our the interested protein molecule. So now this is the whole DNA recombinant technology. That first what we have do, this is the our the species containing the whole human mRNA we have taken. This whole human mRNA, then we have synthesized the complementary DNA. Then this complementary DNA and plasmid vector, they will acted upon by the restriction endonuclease enzyme, and then they both are ligated by DNA ligase. So there is a this type of the hybrid DNA synthesized. This hybrid DNA then we have entered imbibed into the bacterial cell for their multiplication. So there is a this process is known as transfection into the host bacteria. This contains the calcium chloride into the medium, because calcium helps to imbibe this plasmid into the bacteria. So you can see here in this figure that this bacteria contains the different plasmid. Certain plasmid contains simple plasmid, and certain plasmid contains our interested DNA molecule. Now there is a selection of the bacteria carrying the human gene by antibiotic sensitivity. First we add all these bacterial colony into the ampicillin and tetracycline resistant tetracycline drug. So only the bacteria which contains the plasmid will grow in that medium. Then this contains two types of the plasmid, one simple and one interested DNA. Then again we will do the antibiotic sensitivity with the chloramphenicol drug into the replica plate, and then we will find those colonies die due to there is a insertion inactivation of the chloramphenicol gene. That colony is selected out. Then this interested colony we will amplified into the different medium, and then is they are the if they are the expression vector, they will produce the expression proteins, that is our isolated interested proteins. So this is the DNA recombinant technology. This is another scheme is given here to produce the recombinant human insulin. So what we will do, the human cell particular chromosome is taken out, then isolation of the chromosome is done, then human gene which is responsible for the insulin production is isolated out. From that the bacteria plasmid is taken out, then plasmid is cut with restriction endonuclease enzyme. Same like that this human gene responsible for insulin production is also acted upon by the restriction endonuclease enzyme. Then this is inserted with the help of the DNA ligase enzyme. Then they will be transported into the bacteria. These bacteria will grow. So there is a two types of the different three types of the different colonies are synthesized. One contains simple plasmid, one contains our interested DNA containing plasmid, and one contains the our simple bacteria. From that our interested colony is find out, then reproduction of the bacteria in the plasmid, and large number of the plasmids or bacteria containing the interested plasmid are produced, and there is a production of the protein by expression vector. So there is a production of the large number of the insulin can be synthesized. So this was about the recombinant DNA technology. Now we will discuss about the applications of the recombinant DNA technology, how it is helpful in the clinical application. So these recombinant DNA technology, they are helpful in understanding of molecular basis of the number of the disease, like the familial hypercholesterolemia, sickle cell disease, thalassemia, cystic fibrosis, muscular dystrophy, cancer, diabetes. Because these type of the molecular disease, they contains the mutant DNA. So that type of the mutant DNA will produce the mutant type of the protein. So we can identify it easily that either it contains the normal DNA or the mutant DNA by this recombinant DNA technology. Then different proteins for the different therapy are also synthesized, as we have seen in the example of insulin synthesis, like that growth hormone, tissue plasminogen activator, and many more proteins, they can be synthesized by this technique. Then certain proteins for vaccination, like hepatitis B vaccine, can also synthesize, that is routinely used in the national immunization schedule. Then in certain forensic medicine techniques for the diagnosis of certain victims of particular case, which we have also identified from that different fluids, body fluids containing the that from that victim at the criminal site. We will take that body fluids, then we will multiply them, and then we will isolate that particular uh, DNA, and then this DNA from that suspected victim will match together by DNA fingerprinting technique. So this is by again recombinant DNA technology. And DNA genotyping, in case of that, the suppose in case of the true mothers or true parents from that the unknown child, it can also be identified, that is by DNA genotyping or by the recombinant DNA technology. Then in gene therapy also, in certain disorders, if the mutant DNA is present into the diseased person, then this in place of this mutant DNA, normal DNA is inserted into that the person's genome. So there is a normal protein can be synthesized by gene therapy. The whole topic of gene therapy we will discuss in the next lecture. So in that case also we are doing this recombinant DNA technology for curing the disease caused by the single gene deficiency, such as sickle cell disease, thalassemia, and adenosine deaminase deficiency. In that condition also recombinant DNA technology is useful. Then genetic counseling. Suppose there is a parents are suffering from the certain disorders which are the not dominant but they are the autosomal recessive. So in that condition we in case of the genetic counseling, we also use this recombinant DNA technology. One mean of the preventing diseases to avoid the passing of defective genes to the offspring. So this type of the autosomal recessive conditions in which there is a one gene contains mutant DNA and one DNA contains the normal DNA. So these also identified by the recombinant DNA technology. And formation of the transgenic animals. Transgenic means those animals contain genetic material into which the DNA from the different organism has been artificially introduced. So that is also produced by the recombinant DNA technology. Like of the sheep name is the Dolly was first synthesized by this is a transgenic animal from the recombinant DNA technology. And first protein was synthesized by recombinant DNA technology was the insulin that we are normally used for the treatment of the diabetes mellitus patient. Then certain commercial application in which also recombinant DNA technology is helpful, like in agriculture application. So in agriculture, certain plants you can we have heard that the different hybrid plants now it is synthesized, which gives the crop of the certain bigger size or which gives the crop which are resistance to the certain insects or herbicides or disease. So these plants which are resistant to disease, insects and herbicides, that are also produced by this recombinant DNA technology. Then certain industry application like production of the large number of the enzymes which are used for the production of the detergents or certain sugars or cheese productions and many more, they are also synthesized by this recombinant DNA technology. So these are the most important different applications of the recombinant DNA technology, and it is a very useful technology. Now these are the certain list of the important proteins which are synthesized by the recombinant DNA technology is given here, like the human insulin, growth hormone, certain blood clotting factors which we are used for the certain bleeding disorders as a treatment. Then hepatitis B vaccine, human papilloma virus vaccine, cytokines, growth factors, certain monoclonal antibodies, then recombinant HIV proteins for HIV ELISA technique, that by the detection of the HIV virus into the person's blood. It is also synthesized by recombinant DNA technology. And herbicide and insect resistance crops. Then other products like albumin, fibrinolytic and thrombolytic agents, that also we can synthesize by this type of the technique. So this was all about the recombinant DNA technology. Now we discuss about the DNA library. Certain times this short note can also be asked as a separate, like the DNA library. Now what is DNA library? It is the collection of clone restriction fragments of the DNA that represents the entire genome. So the entire genome of the, suppose from the human, so this entire genome, they will be degraded into the small fragments by the specific restriction endonuclease enzyme, and that whole restriction fragments, they will inserted into the different plasmids. So there is a, we have multiple plasmids which contains the hybrid DNA molecule. This DNA is from the restriction fragments from that the human genome or entire species genome. So by that technique we can uh, preserve the whole genome into the plasmid for the different research processes or for the production of the different types of the specific protein. That is known as the DNA library. It is the same as human knowledge is represented by all the volumes in the book library. Suppose in the book, in the library, there are the different books are there, and those books if we read and we have the knowledge of that all the book which are present in the library, that like also the collection of the different restriction fragments of DNA that are present into the entire genome of the one species. That is collection from the one species entire genome into the chimeric DNA form. It is known as the DNA library. It is also called the shotgun collection. Now how we can collect it by shotgun? Now there are the two types of the DNA library. One is genomic library and second is the complementary DNA library. Why it is known as shotgun collection? Because here what we will do, entire genome from the one species, they will be acted upon by restriction endonuclease enzyme of same types. So there is a large number of the products or restriction fragments are synthesized from the whole genome from that the one particular species. Then these genome, they will be they will be attached with the by the same restriction endonuclease enzyme acting onto the different same type of the plasmid. So there is a, by DNA ligase enzyme, the chimeric DNA is synthesized, large number of chimeric DNA. So it is also known as the shotgun technique. Now there are the two types of the DNA library. One is genomic and one is complementary DNA library. In genomic DNA library, what we will do, whole the genome, they will be directly acted upon by the restriction endonuclease. So there is a DNA restriction fragments are directly taken out, and as we all know that DNA contains introns and exons. Introns which are not transcriptionally active, and exons, they are the introns that are not expressible portion of the DNA, and exons, they are the expressible portion of the DNA. So this genomic DNA, as we have taken the directly DNA molecule, they contains both introns and exons. Then entire genome of the DNA of the organism is cut into the small pieces by restriction endonuclease enzyme. These cut pieces are introduced into the different into the same types of the different number of vectors. These recombinant clones of the collection is known as the genomic DNA library, because it contains the whole genome, which contains introns also and exons also. While in case of complementary DNA library, it all only represents the exons, because here we are introduce the complementary DNA, not direct DNA. So first, it is a more specialized and exclusive DNA library because it contains only our expressible portion of DNA nucleotides. So for what we will do, instead of taking the DNA or genome, we are taking the whole mRNA from the organism. Then from that whole mRNA, we will synthesize the complementary DNA. So as we all know that this mature mRNA doesn't contain any introns, they only contains exons. So that complementary DNA is synthesized, that also contains only exons, and by reverse transcriptase enzyme, these complementary DNA fragments now inserted into the suitable DNA and they are cloned. So this cloned collection of complementary DNA molecule is known as the complementary DNA library. It is more specialized and more exclusive because from that complementary DNA containing plasmid, we can directly synthesize the our interested protein molecule. So this was all about recombinant DNA technology and the DNA library. If anyone has a question, you can ask me. And in next lecture, we will discuss about the gene therapy and the human genome project. Thank you for your attention.